So, I can't remember the year.
Listen.
James Dasher put out this great trilogy of books called Maze Runner. I read it. At this point, I think there's 5 books. There's 2 prequels and 3 books. I read 4 of them. The second prequel I have not read yet. I plan to because James Dasher does a phenomenal job with writing these. I mean, these were suspenseful. They were action-packed. They kept like you couldn't put the book down. So when it was announced that they're gonna do movies based on this series, and when Teen Wolf favorite, I think, Dylan O'Brien was cast as the main protagonist in the movie, people were like, okay, this is gonna be good, this is gonna be good. So the first one came out, it was like,
you mean the remake or the show, TV show?
The TV show.
The Teen Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the Vampire Diaries, one of those 2. I can't remember. Didn't watch either, so you know.
Me neither. Whatever.
People know who Dylan O'Brien is, you know.
I didn't. Anyways.
Basically, the first one came out, it was like, okay, this is good.
I don't know if we reviewed it on one of our previous
I'm not sure we did the first one. First one was great.
It was a really nice.
He stuck to the book.
Yeah, that's what you told me too. But even if
like,
it wasn't,
okay, there were some discrepancies,
as
there always were, but the story was great. It was
even if it wasn't based on the book, that was a great movie.
Oh yeah,
great movie.
Second one came out, and
we definitely reviewed that one. And
I have no idea what happened with the second one. But one thing you figure out of the second one,
it was a bad movie. It was way too long, had way too many zombies, and it was all over the place. The story
didn't have enough of them, because if you want to go book-wise, book had more of them. But
listen, in my opinion, when you have one zombie in the movie that's not supposed to have any zombies in it, to me that's one zombie too much. Okay,
it's supposed to have a ton of them,
and there were a ton of them in that one tunnel, man.
Yeah, but there's a whole.
Anyways, because
the movie was bad.
Yeah, and even
it wasn't horrible.
It
was a bad movie. Because here's the thing, and one thing we did figure out, but it couldn't be horrible because That Cure was gonna come afterwards. Like, I mean, if the second one was horrible, what do you call the third one? Here's the thing. One thing we did figure out with the second one, the second Maze Runner movie, it was the fact that they totally strayed off the books. They basically took the concept, they took the characters, and they put in something else.
And they put in Littlefinger. Can't forget Littlefinger. Because he's important.
Might be in the book too, but well, it's Littlefinger. You know, that was one of the high points of the third movie. And then
we'll talk about it. We'll get to it.
Then the third movie was happening. The That Cure, he was gonna come out. They would start shooting, and then Dylan O'Brien broke his leg. And then
or ankle or something. Yeah. There was an injury.
Then he did American Assassin, and he was great in American Assassin. And Michael Keaton was American Assassin. It was a really good movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
Then the That Cure came out. Now the thing about That Cure, you have to understand, it came out 4 years.
We'll say 4 years, but it was probably it was around 4 years.
3 years, 2 years.
3 or 4 years.
Came
definitely.
out 3 years too late.
Definitely.
Is there anything good about this movie?
There are 2 things good about this movie. 2 things. The action scenes are amazing in this movie. Like every action scene in this movie is great. Like I'm talking about action in and of itself. Like when they have, I don't know, same, you know.
If you want to put it in context, the action is way too much. It's overused.
Let's not go.
Yeah, action sequences.
Action sequences are great in this movie.
Okay, what's the second one?
The high scene.
The first one?
The first scene
I
in the
wouldn't
movie.
call it a high scene. It's more of like a rescue scene.
But
it's a good scene.
It's a great scene. It's a great heist scene.
I talked to a friend of mine, and she was like, I did not watch she was like, this movie was great. I was like, did we watch the same movie? And she was like, yes, we watched the same movie, I think. We watched the Maze Runner movie. I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I didn't really watch the movie. I watched Dylan O'Brien. And I was like, you know, that makes sense. Because if you just watch Dylan O'Brien and nothing else, it's a great movie.
And we just see to Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, like everything you watch is just Dylan O'Brien on the movie. It's a good movie. He jumps, he shoots, he jumps some more, he talks, he comes up with plans, he's a hero, then he bleeds, then he kills people, then he jumps off a building into a pool. Like, it's a great movie if you just watch Dylan O'Brien.
Like I said, great action sequences.
You know, listen, this movie doesn't even deserve a rant.
This movie doesn't deserve this video, but we're doing it anyway.
I have no idea why we're doing it. It's
for posterity, I guess. I mean,
yeah, because we watched it, so we might as well
dude,
review it.
I watched
and
all,
it gives him something to actually put out one of these weeks, you know.
Listen, I watched all.
It's content.
I watched all 4 of the Hunger Games movies. I watched 2 movies of the Divergent series, at least. I don't know if I watched the 3rd one because I can't even remember it. Watching it. And
3rd one and the 4th one coming. They kind of mashed together at the
I
end.
didn't even watch the 4th one, okay? I didn't even...
I'm still not sure whether there is a 4th one. I can't remember.
I think I watched...
Because I think the 4th one was supposed to be a TV show. I don't remember. And the amazing thing is, those were great books. I read
because
the
they were
books.
trying to do the Hunger Games thing. They were trying to rake up more money. And
Listen,
they split
at
it
no
in-
point should you make... That's the problem in Hollywood. Everything is based on money, not putting out good content because, you know, Moonlight did win an Oscar last year. So you can't really blame them for doing stuff they're supposed to make money.
Yeah.
It's money-oriented business. And if, you know, I actually have nothing. Like, I have nothing. I'm speechless.
I can't even rate this. Like, we should rate this movie. This is why we're doing this, because we never rated the movie this low, okay? We need to rate
I
this
think
movie.
the lowest I went is 18, I think. I'm not
Something
sure.
like that.
I'm not
16.
sure.
I think it was 16. I think it was 16. I think it was 16.
I don't know what to rate it. Is it a 10? Is
It's
10
not
too
a 10.
much?
It's 10 is way too much, man.
Our rating system functions on the base of 1 to 30. So don't think when we say a 10, it's a great movie. It's not. It's like
10 to 15 is barely watchable.
everything under 10 is like radioactive hazard material, alright? This doesn't crack a... You know, it's a 10. Okay, I'll give it a 10.
Dude, you can't go that... Dude, it's too much. It's too much, man.
I
It's
kind of
too much.
figure out at some point there's gonna be a movie coming out that we're gonna watch, and it's gonna be worse than this. It's possible.
It is possible, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, man.
Here's the thing: we're not rating this movie because it's. We're gonna rethink putting this video out, but I think it's way too funny not to put out.
I don't think it's that funny.
I think we're gonna put this video out anyways, but you know.
That was the general idea. I don't think it turned out that way, man.
Yeah.
I mean, are you listening to ourselves talking about this?
Yeah, man, I am ashamed. I have nothing good to say about this movie. Listen, if you wanna go watch, I think you should stay away from it.
Definitely stay away. Like,
Not watch it.
If you can sneak into it, if you can
Listen, if somebody pays you to go and watch it, do not watch it. It's not worth the money.
Dude, watch the first scene, the first sequence with the train heist scene, and then go. You know, like that's great. Like that's a great scene to watch, and then just go.
Alright, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll watch like the first scene and then leave.
Yeah, it's like what, 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah, so
if
about.
that. So
We're not rating this movie because it'd be atrocious. It'd be
it's not something we do on this channel.
it wouldn't be productive.
Even though we're already
You know,
being
it-
unproductive just by making this video, man.
Yeah,
I say,
but we're not rating this movie. Because
you already gave it a 10, which is.
I'm
really-
taking that back.
Okay, good.
We're not rating this.
I'm giving you the 2 out of 30.
No, we're not rating this. All right, now you hear me? We're not rating this. One thing I do learn is like
Fine.
if you can't rate it, if you can't give it a good rating, then don't rate it. Just say I didn't like it because you know you obviously didn't like it.
As a fan of the books,
Yeah.
do you? I don't know. Like, do you feel? I don't know. Is there any feeling that you like? Is there any
Here's
kind of
something
like?
that
Do
I
you feel
understood.
anything towards like? Listen, anytime you have a movie based on book, you know they're gonna, you know.
Listen, one thing I learned a long time ago is just because something is based on the book, I should not expect to see in the movie stuff that happened in the book.
So, of course, but to me, as someone who's fan of the books, even though they went far away from, like, are you happy with the direction they took? Like,
Not at all.
I mean, is
Listen,
that like
your book was basically a screenplay.
okay?
To say that it was well written book would be an understatement. Because once you, if you like fantasy, especially if you like dystopian stuff, once you pick this book up, you cannot put it down.
Okay.
That's how good it is. It's probably gonna take you like less than a day to read it. Not because it's a short book, but because it's a good book. There was nothing of that in the movie at any point past the first movie.
Because even when stuff happens, like when they change the story completely, like they could still be smart enough to give you a good story. I don't think we got that.
They went all over the place and they did not have a clear direction of where they were going. They were trying to throw too much stuff at you at way too fast. It just didn't work. There was no, I told you this before, like there was no emotional attachment to this movie whatsoever.
Yeah, true.
Like it never, I never felt.
I mean, they even brought the guy back to life, and it was like, can't this dude? And it was that annoying dude who's always playing annoying role, and I was like, couldn't you just leave him dead?
I don't. Well, in the book he also doesn't die, but listen, it's just stuff is different. Like, and even with this movie, I expected that. I kind of went into it hoping I was gonna see something good. I told you, like, I don't do expectations before the movies just for this exact reason, because I'm not gonna expect something good and I'm gonna get disappointed. So I rather go in there with a clear mind and just try to enjoy the movie. I did the same thing here. I did not expect a great movie. I didn't even expect a lousy movie. I just wanted to see what they're gonna give me. I was gonna try to be
objective.
I was gonna be objective. Definitely was gonna, and I was gonna wait for the movie to actually show me what he got. I was waiting for him to pull me in, to give me something. And after that first sight scene, I was like, you know, that it started off great. I was like, all right. And then I was like, no, fluke. It was a fluke. Somebody came with this scene by accident. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like,
I mean, the only
accident happened and we got a good scene in the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the IMDb rating is. I don't know how much money this movie is making off the box office. They're probably gonna rake in a couple of million. They're not gonna get their investment back. There's no way Dylan O'Brien rakes in this much money. No matter how many fangirls going to watch the movie because Dylan O'Brien is in it. It's just not a good movie.
And I'm not even go like people complain about Return of the King, Lord of the Rings third movie having 15 epilogues. To me, that didn't bother me one bit because there was a lot.
I don't care.
There was a lot of loose ends to tie. But in this movie, we got like 2 or 3 epilogues, and was like, why is this movie not over yet? Like, why is this movie still going on? Because you had that one scene that should have finished the movie, but for some reason they kept. I was like, dude, like, what are they doing? Like, did somebody watch this movie like in editing? Like,
let's cut another scene into it. It's gonna be fun. It's like, no. Listen,
maybe they figured out we have a big turd here, so let's just pile on some more turd. And, you know, just because we're done with it, let's just be done with it.
Here's the thing. And it's not just... Epilogues are supposed to finish a storyline. Of the 4 epilogues that we've seen, they finished stuff that didn't need to be finished.
Yeah, that's true, man.
They kill off characters that they didn't need to kill. They try to emotionally attach to characters that shouldn't be emotionally attached. There's so much stuff wrong with this movie. It should be like every college that teaches movies, that teaches screenplaying, the screenwriting. This should be a prime example of what not to do with the movie. Listen, if you want to make a good movie, take this movie and do everything you didn't do. Like, just do everything opposite. When they rob somebody, just let them give something away. When they shoot somebody, let them, like, I don't know, give them flowers. Just do everything that this movie is doing, but just do it the other way around. Because this is a movie that should not be released into the public. I don't know who watched this movie and said, this is great stuff, we should really put this out. Like, listen, I get the whole thing. You want to end the trilogy.
This should have been a video release, you know, video on demand, you know, just put it on DVD. This was supposed to be that.
Because this brings me, listen, the more I'm thinking of it, the more I'm sure that the Divergent series doesn't have a 4th movie. Because the 3rd one was so bad, they never did the 4th.
There was the 4th, man, I know.
Are you sure? Because the 3rd and the 4th, they kind of jumbled up in there, man. I do not go and watch it. You know, all those people who hated the Divergent 3rd, you sure there was a 4th?
I'm sure there's a 4th, man.
So you know all those feelings that you hate, you have, that you harbor towards the Divergent 3 and 4?
Okay.
They're nothing compared to the
That's-
pile of dirt that is that cure. Like, don't do this. It's like radioactive.
It's not that cure. There was no cure, people. Like, that's a spoiler, okay? Like, I'm gonna spoil it. I don't care. There was no cure. Like, they found a cure and they didn't use it. They didn't give it to people. They didn't give it to anybody. Like,
And they kill Newt. Like, then it's not
the guy you're supposed to hate and not like, that's annoying, that dies in the second movie, they bring back to life, but then
he dies in the first one. But Newt,
I don't care when he dies. He
Here's the
dies.
thing.
Okay, he dies.
I was hoping Newt stays alive because they made him such a vital part.
That was the only character I've had any emotional attachment to anyway.
And they killed him.
And Brenda. Okay, and Brenda.
Brenda Rock. And they killed Newt. Now here's the thing. In the original books, Newt gets sick in the second book, and there's a whole like rescue effort. They're trying to get him back, trying to cure him in the third one. I think they do in the end.
Dude.
Can't remember. Here's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
It's like, you love Newt in the books, but stuff with Newt starts happening in the second book. Basically, in the fourth act, in the last act of the movie, they tell you that he's sick, and has been for a very long time. And then they throw all this hope at you that he's still gonna survive. Then they kill
Because
him.
if we find the cure, and you think they're gonna cure him, but they like.
It's like they throw
Yeah.
everything at you in the last act, and it's like, this is not how you do this stuff. It just doesn't work this way. Like, do it in the first act.
Yeah.
And you know, there's so many stuff wrong with this movie. That
Can we
just-
go, dude? Back to the Littlefinger, dude. I forgot the actor's name. It was Aiden something.
His Littlefinger. He's always gonna
Littlefinger
be a
from Game of
Littlefinger.
Thrones. Can he play some other kind of role? Why does he
No.
have to be a Littlefinger on?
Because
Nice
he's a good
one.
Littlefinger.
But he can be so many other good things. Like, he could have been a great villain.
Yeah,
But he was
but he's
basically
not gonna be
Littlefinger all
Littlefinger.
over again.
Yeah.
To me, there's like, why you have?
He signed
You
up
have-
for the life of Littlefinger. No matter what movie he does,
I
from
know,
this point
man.
on,
He's always
gonna be Littlefinger.
I know, but he could play
because-
something different, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He's that kind of an actor. He can
But
do-
everybody sees him as Littlefinger, so
Doesn't
he's always
matter,
gonna
man.
be a Littlefinger. Billy Zane did the same thing, basically. He said after he did Titanic, he never could get a
Yeah, but
normal
he-
role after
yeah.
it because Titanic
There was
defined him.
one movie, man. Okay.
And this is one TV show.
Yeah, he was there for
Long
like
running
what,
TV show.
Yeah, for 6 seasons. Yeah, I'll give you
That
that. I'll give you that.
cements him. He's forever gonna be known as Littlefinger.
Yeah, but this movie could have done something else, you know? I mean...
This movie could done so many things differently.
and
Listen,
look,
this went on. Listen, this is it from
There's
us.
one more gripe I had to, like...
I hate this
How can
video.
people, dude, how can
I
people...
hate this video just as much as I hate the movie.
No, man, I know. But listen, I have a gripe with it. Wicked, okay? How can you trust any organization that's named Wicked, okay? How can people still put trust in an organization like that, okay? Like,
I would have to remember the acronym, which I don't.
it's
but-
WCKD or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
I can't remember what they stand
Doesn't
for.
matter, man.
It
It's
does.
still Wicked.
No, but here's
That,
the thing.
it's not a Boston-based organization, okay?
In the full name, Wicked makes sense.
Maybe it makes sense, but I still wouldn't trust it, man.
Well,
Maybe
that's
if it
not
was
the
out of
point.
Boston, maybe if it was based in Boston, I would believe, I
Leave
would trust
Boston
it.
out of this. Boston is a good city. This is a horrible movie, so let's not compare the two.
I'm just, they say Wicked
No,
a lot
the-
in Boston, but listen,
Wicked makes sense as an acronym. Trust me, I
It
can't
doesn't.
remember what it
not
stands
to
for.
me, man, not to me.
I'm gonna try to talk him out of putting this video online because it's.
Way too long. We give it much more time than it
Don't,
deserves.
you know, just don't go watch it. You know, go watch I Love Lucy or something. Anything.
I love Lucy. Where did you pull that out of, man?
It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful life. You can watch that one. Like, you can really watch anything. Just don't watch this movie.
You can go watch Billy Zane.
No,
in
no,
the
it's
Factory.
alright. Just, we're done. No, we're done.
Yeah, Pash Bros up.